Race 2 for the Scottish BMW Compact is about to head out on track, and as you can see, bone dry conditions this time. I'll hand it to Richard for their final race of the day.
Thanks very much, Joe. The starting positions for this, based on the results you had before the break, race number 1, that means Greg Sutherland starts on pole, David McNaughton alongside, then Cliff Harper and Gary Clark. Row 3, Neil McInnes and Lee Elric. Don't think Robert Marshall's going to start this one. He was one of the 2 drivers that were part of the clear-up when we had the safety car. We do have Ray McDowell back on track, which is good news, so we'll keep our eyes out for him. But we've got some oil down on circuit from the Scottish Student Sports Car race. It's going to be a rolling start, single file, and as you can see, the cars are coming up the hill ready to take the green flag, headed by race 1 winner Greg Sutherland from David McNaughton. So look for the green flag, which is waved, along with the stationary stripe flag, which indicates the limited adhesion, effectively slippery circuit, and a wise decision by the officials here so that everyone gets a good clean start. And effectively, because they're in race 1 positions, there's Ray McDowell already picking off, I think, Gordon McShannock on the start, and because everyone's started in the finishing order from race number 1, it's effectively a continuation of that, which is what we like. It does mean that Greg Sutherland didn't have to worry, or the other drivers had to worry about getting it off the line from a standing start. Sutherland it is then that leads from David McNaughton, Cliff Harper and Gary Clark. There is Phil Dryborough being chased by Alistair Smith, the P10 newcomer, a name known, I guess, to many of our karting aficionados as a top Scottish karter. Here's the view though from Gary Clark, runner-up in the championship last year, 4th position at the moment. Now, with no drop scores in the championship, the last thing a driver wants is the DNF, and Gary Clark knows that a good result, that 4th position in race number 1, although he wasn't on the podium, still good points that will all tally up at the end of the season. A little bit of a lock-up there from Cliff Harper. Got to say, I love the quote from Cliff about just dusting down the car and coming out to race. We go back, Steve Goldie and Lee Elric. These guys battling for 6th position at the moment. I think Neil McInnes is the driver immediately ahead of those as we pick up the lead quartet at the moment. It is in fact Neil McInnes, the Glaswegian, in 5th place. So this the scrap for 6, and Elric trying to hunt down Stephen Goldie with Phil Dryborough in behind. Then Alistair Smith coming along the straight into the hairpin. Little move up the inside from Dryborough. In the mix as well, we've got the blue car of Richard Sutherland, car number 90. The race leaders up and over the brow once again. The lead quartet, as you can see, similar pattern to race number 1, starting to get away. And you've got to say that any one of those 4 drivers looking very capable of the win, but breaking the toe at the minute. I tell you what, 91 is losing ground here. Neil McInnes is losing a little bit of ground on Steve Goldie. So the Motherwell driver closing up at the moment and looking like he may well challenge for 5th position very shortly. We've got a challenge on for the lead. David McNaughton going a little bit wider there onto the Brandon Straight, looks down the inside, momentarily going into Clark, and he's got a bit of breathing space behind him. Cliff Harper at the moment isn't, well, he's right there, but not close enough to threaten, and this is just giving the 23 car that little bit of extra confidence to have a look here and there. He does it again as they come down into the hairpin. Classic overtake on here, inside line through the standing water on the way into the hairpin and through on the inside line. Nice clean fair racing, and Greg Sutherland is down to 2nd. The new race leader is David McNaughton. Up the hill, across the line they go. Greg Sutherland, though, will be up for a fight, and he's glued himself to the rear spoiler of the lead car. He's going to have a look down the inside here as they come into Duffus. Cliff Harper's getting hungry as well. Looks like he might be getting on the case. And now, here comes the 97 car, having a look down the inside. Sutherland squeezes through. There was barely a gap there, but he did it. He runs wide, he hangs on to it. McNaughton runs wide. Cliff Harper up into 2nd place, and now Gary Clark comes into the mix as well. Superb 4-way scrap. That was half a gap that Sutherland went through there. It looked like he almost, I think, sold the race leader a dummy and then just dived down that half gap to go through. You saw how much momentum he carried. The car wanted to go very wide on the exit of the corner, but he pulled it all back in. And the erstwhile leader, David McNaughton, is down to 3rd, but fighting back now at Cliff Harper. Are we going to have 3 wide into the hairpin? It looks like it could be. Greg Sutherland still out front. Cliff Harper second. David McNAUGHTON, though, doesn't go up the inside, but Harper now is going for the lead. Up the hill we go. Still got Gary Clark in 4th place. And Gary Clark must be wondering whether this is going to end in tears for the top 3, or maybe 2 of the top 3, so that he can pick off a position. Look at Steve Goldie challenging for 5th position behind. Here they come down into Scotsman again, all a little bit more settled on this occasion, with McNAUGHTON still back in 3rd. But look at this curbing. Greg Sutherland over the curb unsettles the car. Not so much that he goes off, he's still in lead position. I wonder if that's unsettled Greg at all. Cliff Harper still in 2nd position in 72, and the top 4 continue unabated. So it's Sutherland, Harper, McNAUGHTON and Clark, the top 4 drivers in this at the moment. Gary Clark could hold the key here. We've still got Neil McInnes in black in 5th position, number 91. But here comes the move from Harper. Looks to the inside line. It's covered by Greg Sutherland. He comes over to the inside line. Harper's on the outside. David McNAUGHTON sees an opportunity in the blue and red machine and goes up the inside of Cliff Harper. Might get a better run. Gary Clark's going to come through as well, because Clark sees the opening. Clark's got the momentum too. Is Harper going to be pushed off the podium here? Well, metaphorically anyway, not literally. So Clark going through. Has he got that 3rd place? McNAUGHTON certainly up into 2nd. They're coming down Duffus through Leslie's in towards Scotsman. I'll tell you what, Clark's line wasn't defensive there. I think he's got it. You can see he's got half a car length at the moment over Cliff Harper. And Harper here, for my money, could take a bit of a breather. He'll want to come back for sure, but he's going to maybe take a little bit of a breather, regroup and come away again. We've seen that he's got the pace. Looking up the inside is Gary Clark. Meanwhile, it's the race leader, still Greg Sutherland, in the 97, looking to make it 2 out of 2. But David McNAUGHTON, he's having a right old go. McNAUGHTON going wide here. This could be about going for the cut back up the hill. Let's watch as they come down into the hairpin. McNAUGHTON goes back and tight. Well, he's taking the same line. Up front we've got the, I think that's Gordon McShannock. They're coming up on the back marker as we go down the order. Lee Elric in the mix here with Alistair Smith, Neil McInnes in 91, Steve Goldie. Those 2 were dicing for 5th place. And now at the moment, McInnes is trying to get back up into 6th position ahead of Alistair Smith, who's the top newcomer. Goes a little bit wide. But on to the last lap now. I can tell you that, sadly, we've lost Greg Sutherland. Greg Sutherland out of the race, retired on lap 9. So we're looking at, this is the battle now for 4th position. Lee Elric in 4th from Neil McInnes, then Steve Goldie in white, followed by Phil Dryborough, and I think Alistair Smith in behind them. Yes, it is Alistair, the grey car with the fluorescent writing on the side. Alistair's first meeting with us and running well, and he's without doubt going to be knocking on the door of podia before the end of the season. But this, the battle for the lead, and it's David McNAUGHTON with Gary Clark all over the back of him. McNaughton's got the fastest lap of the race on lap 9, 63.9, fastest lap of the weekend for him. Now is he going to hang on to it? Gary Clark's having a good go. Clark comes offline, looks at the inside line. McNAUGHTON comes across, there's barely room there. Clark's still got the momentum going up the hill, but David McNAUGHTON takes the win. And the pit wall absolutely delighted, his crew happy with that. The Balgoni Motorsport man takes it from Gary Clark, Cliff Harper. Here comes Lee Elric, a flash of the lights for the 4th place man. Neil McInnes next, Goldie, Dryborough, Smith, Douglas Simpson next. Then it's Richard Sutherland and Martin Buck and Andrew Mackay across the line there. Up ahead of Mike Courts with Liam Grant in the 32 car in the distance, but a delighted David McNAUGHTON, race win and fastest lap from Gary Clark and Cliff Harper, with Lee Elric in 4th, Neil McInnes in 5th place, and Stephen Goldie rounding out the top 6. Non-finish sadly for Greg Sutherland. He's going to have some work to do at the later rounds.
And our race winner, big smile on your face, baby Sophie as well, proud of dad. What a fantastic day, a 2nd place and then a win.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. It was a hard fought race, that one. There was a little bit of contact due to a black marker unfortunately, but raced instant and went on to win the race. Car's been fantastic all weekend. Setup's absolutely spot on, and I just can't thank everybody enough. It's helped me out throughout the lead up to the race season.
At first, when opens the floodgates and there's a championship up for grabs.
Yeah, there certainly is a championship up for grabs this year. Stephen's now obviously going down to English Championship, opens the door for quite a few of us. But the pace we ran today, I think we would have given Stephen a run for his money anyway, to be honest, especially in the wet. So yeah, it's anybody's now. There'll be a dozen people fighting for this championship this year. It's going to be exciting.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
Gary, if someone had said to me who's going to win this championship this year, I'd have said you, obviously, after what you did last year with Stephen, but it's not going to be easy, is it?
No, there's going to be quite a few tough competitors there to beat, but dry seems to suit us better. Fourth this morning in the rain, couldn't really get a feel for it at all, so just look forward to some more dry races.
Let's hope for a good summer, huh?
Aye, here's hoping.
It's a good haul of points to take away with you.
Aye, I mean, early days in the season yet, long way to go. Fourth and a second, it's good points, and it was consistent last year and was right here until the very end, so hopefully this year we can be much the same.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
Cliff, another great podium for a man who wasn't going to race but then decided to do it at the last minute. The guys at the front were starting to battle. It could have been a chance for you to join in.
Well, I was kind of with him for a while. Red lights come on in the bridge, so I backed off a wee bit, and just going to catch up at pace again.
Not ideal.
No, it's the ideal.
But still a good result. Good points as well.
Yeah, it's a good first day.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, that brings the BMWs to a close for today's programme, but I think we've got an action-packed year ahead of us with 2 different winners. Championship is wide open and it's all to play for. Make sure you join us next time. Welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit for the second round of the BMW Compact Cup, and on pole position for race number 1 under drying conditions. Still not 100% dry out there, but Gary Clark on pole position. Second place, we have Stephen Goldie. Now, this is Stephen's best qualifying position. He's been really coming on strong lately, and he's going to be absolutely delighted with the front row. David McNAUGHTON, who won a round, the last round that we had here in April, has had an engine disaster in qualifying. The engine's still out the car. He's going to miss this race, but he's hoping to be joining the grid for race number 3. Drama already, and it hasn't even started. I'll hand it to Richard, and he'll take us through their first race of the day.
And no doubt more drama to come as the race unfolds. Gary Clark starts on pole, Steve Goldie alongside, then it's Neil McInnes and Cliff Harper, Lee Elric and Douglas Simpson row 3, Mike Courts and Martin Buchan row 4, and then Robert Marshall and Andrew Mackie row 5. Row 6, Liam Grant, Ryan Sterling, then Ray McDowell, Richard Sutherland. David McNaughton should have been on row 8 with Daniel Cormack, Ashley Morris and Philip Webster next from Gordon McShannock, and Ross Johnston completing our 20 car field. Gary Clark then starting on pole position. Clark third in the championship, 1 point behind Cliff Harper. He may well move into second here. Probably, if he wins, will go into the championship lead, but we'll see how it all works out. And it is a great start by Gary Clark. 4 wide for second, and it looks like Neil McInnes in the black car is going to squeeze into second. But it's the Cytec machine there. Here we go in car with Robert Marshall coming down a very crowded field. Wet conditions, rear-wheel drive cars, they're all a handful. We've got a big grid as well, but they pretty much all make it through. So good driving standards from the Scottish BMW Compact Cup, boys and girl, we have to say, because we've got Ashley Morris racing in the mix as well, and Ashley qualifying 17th today. But as you can see, Gary Clark, the early leader here, Stephen Goldie down in third place, Neil McInnes holding second at the moment. So McInnes in black with the yellow trim, and then we've got the blue car of Douglas Simpson, 81. So Douglas Simpson up from 6 on the grid, and behind him it's Lee Elric, and here's the view back from Martin Buchan. Great shot it is too, coming out of the hairpin and going up the hill, across the grid lines, over the brow, under the Beatson's Bridge, and then down into Duffus Dip. And you can see Ray McDowell in yellow trying to make up a few places as well. Great to have Ray McDowell in this championship. An extremely renowned saloon car racer, and I think says bucket loads about this particular championship that Ray's decided to come and race with us as we look at the scrap between Douglas Simpson and Lee Elric. Elric at the moment 4th in the championship, 61 points, so 16 points behind David McNAUGHTON, who I think is going to lose the championship lead in this one, but we hope that David can make it out for race 2. Remember though, he'll have to start towards the back of the field. In car with Mike Courts. This looks like a good move from Courts. Outside line here, is he going to be able to get the move done by the time they get down into the hairpin? You can see the 81 car, Simpson still out front. Lee Elric on the inside line. Outside line for Courts. Maybe we'll go for the switchback. No, he's just following line astern at the moment. In car with Robert Marshall. And there's a car off the track. It's Ryan Sterling in orange. The blue car was Liam Grant. And Liam gets it back on track, rejoins just in front of Ray McDowell. Robert Marshall in behind, so a little bit of drama caught from the onboard of Robert Marshall. They all continue, which is good news. Terrific shots from these cars, very cost-effective racing. And now look at McDowell, having a look at the inside line on Liam Grant. So meanwhile, Lee Elric's still there. 72, Cliff Harper from 81, Douglas Simpson. And cars going up the hill. Still Gary Clark leading this one, and fastest lap for Clark. So Gary will, I think, take the lead in the championship, with David McNAUGHTON possibly just dropping down. Cliff Harper is in the mix as well and in the top 6, so he's going to score some useful points as well. Most of the drama has been happening mid-pack. Ryan Sterling goes through, then Liam Grant, still Ray McDowell there as well. The 32 blue car, the car we saw going off at this point of the circuit a couple of laps ago, from the onboard of the 4th of the quartet that we're looking at, Robert Marshall. So Marshall trying to close down on Ray McDowell just now, and those guys, Robert Marshall challenging for 12th place at the minute. Waved yellows out there, so there won't be any passing at Clark or thereabouts. And we go back to Lee Elric from Cliff Harper in 72, and then Mike Courts, who's now, as you can see, got past Douglas Simpson. Of course, looks very dark, doesn't it, from the inside of this car. Cloud cover's still here at Knockhill, but the forecaster's telling us that it's going to dry up for race number 2. And Mike Courts looking on for a decent result here at the moment. 6th position for him behind Cliff Harper, 72. Harper 2nd in the championship. Top scoring championship driver to make the start due to the engine problems you heard Joe talking about with David McNAUGHTON. So Courts continues his chase of Cliff Harper. But here's the leader then, it's Gary Clark still out front. Big old battle going on for 2nd place, and Stephen Goldie has come through into 2nd position. So Goldie is now in 2nd place. So Stephen Goldie now up ahead of Neil McInnes. Up the hill and over the brow they go, so Goldie building a pretty decent lead, and certainly will be helped by the racing going on for 2nd position. And it is Stephen Goldie there at the moment, the Motherwell based driver, and Neil McInnes trying to close him down, and gets very, very close indeed there. So let's see whether McInnes in 91, the Glaswegian, can manage to get back through. He certainly had a pretty good start of things off the line, but has lost out on that now. Up into Clark Curve they go once again. So Goldie's still there. A bit of a gap back between those guys. Look at the gap between Gary Clark, the race leader, and the pair dicing over 2nd place. And look again at the gap from 3rd back to 4th place. So it's Lee Elric at the moment in that 4th position. Elric down the inside, the back marker incidentally. Gordon McShannock locks up to try and keeps out of the way. Mike Courts goes through. Gordon McShannock in car number 55. is still running and he's going to get a classified finish, but Gary Clark goes on to the last lap. At the moment, Steve Goldie, looking relatively comfortable in that second place. Neil McInnes is there still in third. McInnes with a brace of fifth positions at round number 1, and we go in car with Mike Courts once again, the man from Lochgelly, 17th and 13th in round 1. I know he's hoping for, and we were probably expecting better positions for him, but he's found his form and pace this weekend as Mike Courts, and it looks like it's going to be a best finish of the season so far from him out of the 3 races they've had. But there is Gary Clark. Ross Johnston goes out of shot, Ross running in 17th place. We've got one non-finisher in this one so far, which is Daniel Cormack, a retirement. David McNAUGHTON didn't take the start, but Gary Clark is going to go one better than he did in round 2, and he takes the win. Clark wins. Stephen Goldie will take second place. Neil McInnes is there in third. Lee Elric will come through in 4th position, then Cliff Harper. Mike Courts is next. Douglas Simpson up across the line, then Martin Buchan. Richard Sutherland crosses the line next, and then we're going to see across the line goes Ryan Sterling and Liam Grant. Ray McDowell in the mix there as well, and here's the result of race 1. Then Clark from Goldie and McInnes, Lee Elric 4th from Cliff Harper, Mike Courts and Dougie Simpson next from Martin Buchan and Richard Sutherland. Ryan Sterling in 10th place, fastest lap Gary Clark. Liam Grant from Robert Marshall, Andrew Mackey, Ray McDowell, Ashley Morris, Philip Webster, Ross Johnston and Gordon McShannock in 18th.
Gary Clark, well done. Race win. The season didn't start how you wanted at round 1, but this has certainly turned around. Unfortunate for Davey with the engine problem there, points wise, but it's helped you.
Aye, it's good for us, but as you say, unfortunate for David. It's a pity he wasn't out here, because the pace he had in the first round, he probably would have given us a good race. But that went well out here just now. Tricky track conditions, damp patches here and there, so really need to be wary of that, but just happy to get the win.
Well done, great drive.
Thank you.
Introducing Stevie the Beard to the BMW podium. Fantastic result. I know how hard you work. You're here every single track day. You're working your socks off to be there. Right. What a great result.
Aye, thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely outstanding. For where I've came from last year to just now. Aye.
Not been easy, has it?
No. It's been long and hard. All the guys that have helped us out coming up and spanning for us, so take a wee bit of the pressure off and doing a bit of time with Rory Butcher and stuff like that, and obviously all the seat time up here paid off. Brilliant one.
Good track conditions out there. Not ideal. Some damp patches.
Nah, some damp patches. So it was all right. It started to dry up a wee bit. So hopefully for the next race it'll be kind of either dry or either wet. A definitive kind of weather condition. I
say this to everyone that I see getting a podium for the first time. The celebrations last not that long until you want to win, and the next time out you're going to want to win.
Aye, well I think I've been wanting to win for I started the season last year, but no, year on, hopefully it's there for us. Hopefully it's here.
Well done.
Thanks.
Neil McInnes, welcome to the podium. It's a podium of firsts here. We've got also Stevie the Beard on the podium and yourself. It's great to see the fresh faces.
I should have been in his step. It's my own fault, but here I like him, so it's alright. Brilliant, great fun, man. I'm quite delighted that we managed to kind of keep up, and Gary wasn't completely in the distance for a change. So yeah, a wee bit of potential there. I was a bit off track limits a couple of times, which I didn't know about, but
conditions are, it's easy to make that mistake though.
The car's a bit loose and stuff. You're trying to find that dry line, but ultimately I'm over the moon. I don't deserve this. He doesn't deserve second either though, right? Honestly, he done great, and I thought I was catching him towards the end, inch bench, and then he caught a back marker, and I thought I'm getting him now, but it just didn't happen. And it was worth both of us being in the podium than an accident. It was pointless doing it, so it was great though, and he done great as well. It's great for him because he's not a good driver. Alright.